I almost deleted this photo because the raw file looked flat, washed out and completely lifeless. When I took this photo, I was chasing lightning. Big moments, big drama. And that's where my attention was. Weeks later, I went back to my photos and I barely noticed this photo because it was flat and lifeless. A raw file. Welcome to Shooting at Raw. I am John Von Hesse, an award-winning photographer from Melbourne, Australia. And today I am going to show you how DxO PhotoLab 9 turned a flat, lifeless photo into an award-winning shot. This is where DxO's PhotoLab changed everything for this image. Now, the moment that I dropped this into PhotoLab, I was able to start to structure this photo. First, I went to the crop tool and slightly cropped the photo in. So the first thing that I did was take this shot and remove some of the foreground, which is quite distracting. From there, you can see that the horizon is slightly warped due to the lens. So I go to the distortion, and right there, DxO fixes that, and now you can see the horizon is nice and straight. This now gives me the setup of where I want to take this photo. As you can see, this is really flat. So the first thing that I like to do is start to just bring up some of the highlights, possibly bring some of the exposure down because it was incredibly dark. Bring some of the mid-tones up, some of the blacks too. Now, contrast. This is where I like to bring a little bit of the contrast, and this is where DxO's PhotoLab 9 really exceeds. You can already start to see some of the depth coming out within the sky. Next, grab myself a contrast line. I like to use a contrast line because it is a little bit subtler than a graduated filter. Pull that down. This is where I'll start to bring that depth into the clouds. Once again, highlights down, contrast up, not too much. You can see that this software is incredibly sensitive. Clearview is a really awesome Clearview Plus. What I like to do, I actually like to bring some of that Clearview in, not too much. We'll have to pull that back. As you can see, it is very sensitive, but I'll bring a bit of clear view in, pull the shadows down, bring it up. Now you can see that the sky is starting to take some shape. From here, HXL, I like to bring that in there, just pull some of the blues out. I go back into my mask. What I like to do here is select the luminosity mask, click about here, and now you can see that what I want to do is just warm that area up a bit so it looks a lot like it did on the day. Just slowly, very slowly bring it up. Now you can start to see that we've got some depth starting to happen within the photo. Pull a little bit of the blue out. From here into my HSL slider, I'm going to click on there, which is going to select that, and I'm going to bring the luminosity down slightly, give it a bit of color, just add a bit more saturation in there. Again, grabbing that tool, pulling that saturation back just ever so slightly. What I like to do, I like to play around a little bit. I'm going to select this tool here, which is my brush, and I'm just going to brush across there ever so slightly, pull those shadows down. Oop, not too much. And now what it's making this the far horizon pop. You can see there that was on the day, it was very prominent, and that ended up becoming very crimson red eventually. So what I'm going to do is just bring up the mid-tones in there. Now if you are thinking of using a PhotoLab, I have an affiliation link below, and use my code JOHN15 to get 15% off. Once again, another mask, and I'm going to do a control line here. One of the things that I struggle with is, and if there is a shortcut and someone knows how to do it, if you could please tell me, because What I find is trying to get this straight without having to use slide left to right, which I really struggle with. All right, I'm going to bring up some highlights here, start to bring this foreground to life. So I'll bring up the mid-tones, bring up the shadows. Oop, not too much. It is lagging a bit today, I will admit. And this is an older computer, so I just have to put up with it. We are talking a 2019 MacBook Pro. Let's see if we can bring some bling into it simply by... Now, if you are getting anything out of my channel, I would love you to subscribe, as I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by mid-2026, and I would really appreciate your support. Okay, let's see if we can add a little bit of bling into this to bring it to life. Bring some vibrant into it. Start to bring the saturation in. Take some of the blue out. What I may need to do here, what we'll do, we will go into, see if we can bring the greens. There we go. Starting to bring those greens back into where they were. That's better. Once again, I'm just going to bring the micro contrast back a little bit, as it's a little bit sharp for my liking, and it wasn't quite that sharp. Warm it up a little bit more. And there you have it. We nearly are there. Now, one thing that I love about DxO, and that is DeepPRIME 3. If you have a look at this photo, have a look at the noise. Have a look at the noise in this photo. Now, I am going to click on DeepPRIME. Watch this. Have a look at that. I'm going to switch that off. Have a look at that noise, and I'll switch that back on and have a look at that. That is awesome. That is a real strength to DxO's PhotoLab, is the denoising. And I think that anyone that is serious in their photography and wants to bring the best out in that side of thing, this is something that PhotoLab can do very, very well. So, like I said, a lot of these photos that I'm showing you here is definitely a something that I would spend hours doing, and I am just trying to give you an understanding of how a flat, lifeless photo came to life just by, you know, dropping it in here. And if you have a look, that there is the raw flat file to that, and you have a look at the detail that has brought out. That is just incredible. I still just find it incredible how editing can bring a flat, lifeless photo to life, and not only that, an award-winning photo at that. Thank you for joining me today. I am John Von Hesse from Melbourne, Australia, and I just want to say, stay safe, keep shooting it raw, and be kind.